Alright, so for the one act, the rules are that you have 5 minutes to set your setup on stage. Anything you need for the show. So any lights that you have to do, a gel change, any quick focus has to be done in your 5 minutes. Your entire set has to be on stage in 5 minutes. If you go over by 1 second, you are disqualified.
We had the 3 pieces, the base units.
We carried like one of the big gray wood things in on wheels, and then we also carried like one of the circle cloth things in.
I brought on one of those the big screen that we had in the middle. Actually, that was kind of like exhilarating because it's so different than other set pieces.
We might have chipped a corner at one point, but other than that, it all went well.
At the end of your 5 minute setup, everyone is off stage at that time. Then we will have everybody come back out in the hallway. When we are ready and the booth is ready, then I will have the booth crew take out all the lights to a blackout. Then we walk everybody out on stage under a blue light, have them take their places. Once everyone's in their places, I will tell the booth that the show is now theirs, and I will exit the stage. When I exit the stage, we go to complete blackout. From that point on, from their first cue, if it's a sound cue, a light cue, or a spoken word, they have 40 minutes.
Here's a rope. Let's play a game. But we've got to be serious, as if we're children playing their game. Our play starts with a game.
At the end of your 40-minute performance, you stay right where you are, then I will come back out on stage and ask for blue lights. I'll then ask all the cast and crew that are on stage to exit the stage on the opposite side without touching anything. So once we get them off the stage, then I explain to them the rules for strike, and at that point, I'll bring them on stage and I'll have them stand next to their set pieces without touching anything. I'll count down. At that point, they have 5 minutes to strike their set back off the stage into the hallway. Everything that they brought into the theater has to be back across the line off the stage at the end of the 5 minutes. If you're over by 1 second, you are disqualified.
We had the big middle one, and that was kind of, I think all of us got hurt one time or another, but it was exciting.
I also pulled the curtains around through all those.
2 minutes and 29 seconds, really pushing it there.
No, not yet.
Well, they're right, but live long, you know.
Oh, look at them chips.
Rehearsals at first were kind of awkward. I mean, we first did a bunch of exercises to kind of get into the swing of things, you know, getting used to the whole acting process, and just being able to emulate somebody that you are not, which is probably the hardest part for me.
I think Mr. Rush, I've only done it for 2 years, but he likes to start out with a lot of improv, and we work a lot on character development, and we don't necessarily start just right off blocking the show and learning the things. I mean, we'll do a run-through of, we'll run the lines, and we'll do a read-through of the script and everything, but I think we're very focused on developing as actors, and I think that's kind of unique to that rehearsal process.
The rehearsal process with Mr. Rush, I've always found really interesting, and really I learned a lot about acting itself, because for the beginning of rehearsals, we do a lot of general acting exercises, improv, breathing exercises. We do a lot of Italian circles with our lines, not necessarily focusing on the one act that we've chosen, just a lot of being an actor in general, which I've found extremely helpful, not just for my acting skills, but also for my confidence in myself.
Mr. Rush, our Lord and Savior Mr. Rush, gave us things to work on and things to improve on, and he cut stuff and added stuff to the script.
And then as the performance draws near, we start, rehearsals are running the play, running scenes, running lines. But I like the transition from just general acting exercises into the play and how to incorporate what we've learned from our exercises into our performance and our scenes and our characters.
In a lot of cases, there were also kind of one-on-one or like kind of two-on-one sort of coaching sessions, you would call it, just so that he could work with the actors involved in each individual scene so that they would be better. Like with me, I had to yell at Tarzan a lot really loudly while holding an umbrella, and I usually don't do either of those things, so it was kind of an uncomfortable process.
Get away from me! Go as far as you possibly can! Don't even bother coming back to see me! I don't have a son like you.
Hanging off the... Hang upside down so your head's...
What do you like about tech?
Literally nothing.
For the one act, the first thing that we, like, it was like the first day of the one act or something, the first day of tech, Mr. Rush gave us these things called cylinders, which is this album that cylinders 1 through 9, and they all had a different feel to them. And he said, this is the kind of thing I want for this play. Does it have 6 in it?
No.
Probably. Ooh, but what's the, is it 9? 9? And we said, okay. And I originally thought they were all meant to layer on top of each other and sound like a full song. So I did that, and it sounded pretty good. And then we decided that we wanted to kind of mix them in as the scenes went, so that you'd get the feeling of each scene with different numbers of cylinders. It's very river-like, though. Oh, that's actually a chord that I like.
What we did for the one act was since all these cylinders sort of had a specific feel to them, we decided to figure out what that feel would be by taking each one and just sitting and listening to the entire thing, writing down anything that came to mind while hearing it, like if it sounded sort of happy or upbeat, or for most of them almost melancholy, or I think spooky came up a few times.
Sounds good. We already did this.
I didn't need 6.
Yeah.
Rosie! What do I...
I'm talking.
Sorry.
Went from 2 foot
Alright, Mason,
three
going into the
to
sky
just
again.
3 feet, so we cut off the extra random 3
Wait.
inches. But should the bottom not be down?
Repeat what you just said. You added a foot.
Would you like to foot my ladder?
3 feet.
Overall, for the entire kind of set for the one act, it was a huge piece of plywood that had to be cut out into like giant sort of wave cloud shapes, I guess you could call them, so sort of like wavy, bubbly things.
The competition is by far my favorite part of the one act season.
I think it's really special. I mean, there's a lot to be said about whether or not we should actually have the competitive anything in the arts, but I like it. It's one of my favorite days of the year.
The regional sort of kicks off Friday morning when schools start to arrive, and a couple of us check schools in and get their packets ready and all that jazz. And like all these schools come here and they have all these giant set pieces that won't fit through the doors, and things break.
Before the performance, we have what we call a 55-minute tech. You have 55 minutes to enter the theater, to put your set on stage, spike where it needs to go, record any light cues, do whatever you need to for tech to make sure that you're ready to perform your play. You only have 55 minutes.
Tech checks are really stressful at the beginning. It's kind of like all over the place. Once you're in one, you know that it's like a really big deal because you only have like under an hour to actually get through a play that required years to actually compose, and then you had like 3 months to learn it, and then now you have 55 minutes to get through. It's just really all over the place.
At the end of your 55 minutes, everything must be back off the stage, out in the hallway, or you can be disqualified. So you only have that 55 minutes to do everything you need to. That's usually like the morning of or the night before your performance.
That's kind of cool watching people come in, because you sort of get this glimpse of what their show's going to be like, but you really have no idea. It's just the sort of raw set parts.
The setup of the whole competition, the whole festival, as you will, is basically we have three sets of 3 different performances, and so 3 schools each do their play, like with the setup and the strike, and then they go off, and then we have like a few hours, hang out in the hall and talk to each other, and get to know the other schools really well.
During those breaks, you can go back to your room and just hang out. You can socialize with other schools. And also between, there's dinner, there's meals served. But during the free time, a lot of kids socialize. They make friends, or they catch up with people from last year's regionals.
Up on this wonderful day, out in the sun they swam away, while we devoting boat and to floating under the sea.
I'm Josh.
I'm Mac.
We are from Sumner Memorial High School.
Hi, I'm Sarah. My name is Sarah. I come from Mount Desert High School.
My name is Allie Eaton. I'm from D-Ryle Stonington High School.
My name is Brilliant Halp. I'm from Sumner Memorial High School.
My name is Keith Austin Jordan.
And your school?
I'm from Ellsworth High School.
I'm Ashley Hudson. I'm also from Ellsworth.
My favorite thing about One Acts is socializing with people. And acting, of course.
My favorite thing about the One Acts
are those mirrors. That's a very different
is everything.
Different shows and the way that different schools put on their shows.
I go to a place where I feel belonged and that I feel like it's like home for me, a second home.
Everybody just works so hard, and watching everybody pull together for something like we did tonight was just incredible.
My favorite thing about One Acts is coming to the festival and being around people who love the same thing as you, and it's just a great experience for all of us.
In school for a solid 36 hours, I think. Maybe
We're
longer.
at like hour 28 or something now.
Whoa. Or doing a show of like 20 or 200 hours. Whoa. And then of course you know.
Hey Ben, what time is it?
12 o'clock. It's actually.
No, I was actually. How long have we been here, Ben?
37 hours.
So after all the performances, each school has the chance to go to a critique in the library, which is basically a 30-minute critique about what the play did, how good it was, what were some of the downsides, and the judges come in and they tell you all that stuff. And then while that's happening, after all the critiques are done, the judges have to deliberate who did the best and who's getting the awards. So there is entertainment in the auditorium, and this year there was Improv with Acadia, and they did a bunch of stuff. One was this cube part where 2 people would act out a scene that someone would have to come up with. It didn't matter who, but they would have to work with it for the entire cube, and everyone would just rotate when they said rotate, and the scenes would change.
I got a great idea for this, okay? Right? So first, we get a picture of R2-D2.
Okay. Rotate right. Come towards me.
I don't even know what directions are up here.
And that ended up with some really great results.
Hello. Here are our judges and our MPA representatives. If you get one of these groovy little certificates, take your time up here because we are taking your picture for the paper.
Special commendation for ensemble acting is awarded to the cast of The Other Shore.
The other school advanced to the state finals, MDI.